Hi, I'm Lucas Rogers and I'd like to welcome you along to the Rogers Property Group. I've got something really special for you today that I know is going to be of interest to you. If I was to tell you that I could find you an investment that was going to give you a return on your investment of 20% increasing each year, it was going to improve the cash flow of your property, it wasn't a huge outlay, and it was green and helping the environment, would it be something that would be of interest to you? I'm sure it would be. And that thing is solar energy. You know, I've been investigating solar for some time now, and you know, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, look, the returns are so fantastic. I mean, you have the feed-in tariffs that you can get, and you also be able to charge the tenants for your solar. So why aren't more landlords actually using this? Why hasn't it worked in the past? Well, it all boils down to the billing process. I'm not going to try and confuse you too much initially, but what the problem is if the tenant has the power bill in their name, you're not entitled as the landlord to get back the feed-in tariffs. So the feed-in tariffs are what happens when the solar system creates energy and it sells it back into what we call the grid power. If the tenants have the bill in their name, then they're entitled to that feed-in tariff. So the whole thing hasn't worked in the past, and I've spoken to numerous property managers and no, they don't know anybody that's got it. But we've worked out a way that it actually works, and I know you're going to like it. We've managed to structure the billing process through a third-party billing that's unique to the Rogers Property Group, that actually allows you to not only charge the tenants for the electricity that they're using, but to also get back the feed-in tariffs as well. Let me explain to you a little bit about solar electricity. Okay, so we've got three parts to a solar system. We've got our house here, okay? And on our house, we have our solar panels. They're the black things that you've no doubt seen around the place. Then what we do is we have it, what we call an inverter. Now, and this creates the electricity. The inverter actually changes the electricity around to a usable format. And then what we have is we have a meter underneath that. And a meter works out how much is going back to the grid, how much the tenants are using, and so forth. So that's the basic parts to a solar system. Now, when you're putting a solar system onto a house, it's very, very important that you don't go cheap. Cheap, nasty panels, nasty inverters, and bad metering is the wrong thing to have. One, it's inefficient, okay? You're not gonna get your full capacity and your full earnings out of your system if you go cheap. The second and more frightening thing is these cheap solar systems have been known to cause fires. And if you're the landlord and you have a fire and someone gets hurt, then you could be in big trouble. So I really, really encourage you to get the high quality system, one that's been tested overseas and one that has good reviews and so forth. At the Rogers Property Group and our construction arm, RPG Homes, we only use the best quality systems. Now, let me explain to you the billing process and how we can actually get a return on our investment from this solar system. Okay, now there's a few different ways that we can get money from our solar system. And the first one is a rebate. Okay. Now, our rebate is when we buy a solar system. That solar system can actually cost around $13,000 to maybe $15,000 for a high quality system. And as I said, go high quality. It can cost that much. But what happens is, because it's renewable energy and it's green and it's good for the environment, the government gives you a rebate back on that purchase. And that should bring the solar system cost down to around $9,000. So the rebate is the first thing that we get. That's the first bit of income that we can get from that. And that's a one-off. Now, the rebate, it's very important that you don't confuse the rebate with what we call the feed-in tariffs. And that's the next way we can get income from our system. So feed-in tariff. Okay. Now, our feed-in tariff, what that is when our solar system is not getting used by a tenant, so they're not using the electricity, and our solar system is creating electricity because the sun's out, what happens is that electricity gets fed back into the grid. and then our energy supplier, they actually pay us a certain amount per kilowatt hour. I won't go into the finer measurements of it, but they pay us a certain amount for that. So that's income coming in that our solar system is creating and feeding back into the grid. Okay. And our third way that we can get income from our solar system is selling the energy, selling solar to tenant. Okay. Now, selling the solar to a tenant. What we do is we have our tenants set up so that they get a 25% discount on their solar, on their energy used from solar. So what we're doing is we're encouraging them to use our solar over the grid electricity, which obviously they're going to do because they're going to get 25% discount on it. But that creates a great income stream for us. So going through all these, we're getting about $4,000 there, okay? And that comes off the price of our system, so that's not an ongoing thing. On our feed-in tariffs, we can make about $600 to $700 per year off that. Now, our feed-in tariffs continually go up each year. They go up with about CPI, maybe 2-3%, something like that. But this is where the big money is to be earned, by selling solar electricity to your tenants. Now, as I said, we're giving them a discount of 25% as to what they'd be paying from grid power, but even with that, we can still get $1,600, we can still get $1,600 per year from them, okay? And that's fantastic. So that means that we can actually get $2,300 a year back in our pockets. Okay, that could be $2,300 a year back in our pockets from our solar system with an outlay of about $9,000. So that's a massive return. That's about a 20% return on our investment. So not only are we, doing really well financially, we're also helping the environment. Now remember this, our electricity that we charge our tenants, that is actually pegged 25% lower than the standard grid charge. But you've got to remember that the grid charge is actually going up by about 8 to 10% per annum. So this amount here that we're earning, that's going up by about 8 to 10% per year. So you'd be amazed at the returns that's going to give you with about an $8,000 to $9,000 outlay for the solar system. Certainly something worth investigating if you're a landlord at the moment, or you're potentially planning to get started an investment property and get yourself a home. Now remember this, putting a solar system on your home, on your investment property, it doesn't mean just putting a solar system on there and start claiming these things back and charging the tenants. It doesn't work like that. And this is where you have to be very careful. And this is why at the Rogers Property Group, we have a unique billing system only for ourselves. It's unique to us that nobody else has, that allows you to claim both the feed-in tariffs and charge the tenants back for the electricity, thus making the returns so strong. So look, I really advise you to get in and investigate it. Give us a call in the office. I can have a chat with you about it. We can run you through a webinar, whatever it may be, and you'll be surprised at the returns you're going to get out of it. I hope it's been an enlightening video for you, and it's a great income stream, and I look forward to chatting with you soon about it.